Welcome to Tesla Info, and today we're going to look at Tesla's software updates and the most frequently asked questions that we see. So the first question we often see is, what release should I be on? And it's actually quite complicated because it might depend on the model of car you have, the age of the car, maybe what features you got installed, and where you are in the world. On our website we give both a breakdown of the most popular releases and also what's currently being downloaded each day, but you can actually filter this down by model, the year the car was made in, and even the region you're in, and that will give you a different set of results depending on what you select. For instance, a Model Y built in 2022 in Europe, there are 8 versions currently live across all the cars we can see, and by far the most popular release is 2024.14.8 at the time this video was made. We can also see the download pattern for this model, although it doesn't have a region filter, and we can see that an awful lot of these downloads updates happened in the last 2 or 3 days. If we switch to have a look in the US market instead of Europe, or the North American market, we can see that we get a different mix where actually nearly 40% of cars of this type are actually on 24.3.25, which is an FSD supervised release. So simply enter the model you have, the year of production and your region, and we will break down the current releases that are basically most popular on your car to find out whether you are up to date or not. The next question we typically get asked are, what are the correct release notes for your specific car? Again, these vary by region and model and age and so on and so forth, and it can be quite confusing. So we actually have a facility where we can I pull the release notes from a car that matches your criteria and actually display the actual release notes that are seen in that car. So for instance, we're looking at 24.14.8 for Model 3 in the US, and these are the actual release notes that that particular car has seen or has reported. We can simply change those release notes, so instead of looking at Model 3 we can look at Model Y, we can look at a car in the UK or Great Britain, we can look at a 2022 car, and we'll get a different set of release notes. Now our release notes are all taken directly from cars and reported that way, because basically all the other websites that we can see are guessing where they think the release notes are relevant to or not, and aren't always accurate. But by taking the release notes from actual cars, you can be fairly sure that this is available in your region for that model, year, age, etc. And not only do we have the release notes in English, most of the release notes are also available in either German or French. So we can change the country to Germany, although we could actually show it for England or UK, and we can also change the language, as we'll see now, this time to Germany, and we'll get the release notes back and they're actually in German, so you can actually see the release notes as they appear in your home country. Sometimes people are just curious to know what all the release notes are for a particular release, and this gets a little bit complicated because a release family like 2024.14 can comprise lots of sub numbers, and you get a whole mix match. And if we look at this example, we'll see that there are lots and lots of minor fixes for all the sub releases that have gone on and stuff, but we do list them all and we tell you all the countries and the models of car that those particular release notes have been seen on. One additional feature we have, which we think is fairly unique to ourselves, you can actually search the release notes, say high beam, and we'll actually go through and show you all the release notes where high beams have been mentioned, so you can actually see the history and how they've progressed over time. The last but one question we're going to look at is, how is the software release progressing? Lots of people do this. We provide a bunch of statistics based on different types of models and so forth, to give you some sort of flavour, and we always use percentages because an absolute number of cars means nothing. 10 out of 100 is very different to 10 cars out of a million. We also give you a heat map. In this case, it's really only Cybertrucks that are getting it, and we show you sort of like a rolling percentage of how many cars in each day have been sent that release. We'll just switch to a different version. You'll see very different statistics. You'll also see a very different heat map, and the darker the color, the bigger the percentage of cars in that type have got it. And the last question we're going to cover today is, how do you force a software update? Well, in essence, you can't. The car will check about once every day. Usually when you arrive at your destination, being connected to Wi-Fi will always help, because the software generally requires Wi-Fi to download. But essentially, if you're not on the list for an update, you're not on the list, and you just have to wait until it's your turn. So if you're constantly waiting for software updates and desperate to know more information, we'll feel we've got a pretty comprehensive set of tools which enables you to effectively surf, mine, navigate through all the different release notes, see what's relevant where. As we say, all our data is taken directly from cars and as reported by cars, so we're not generally taking stuff off Twitter. The only time we do something like that is if it's an undocumented feature, but all the official release notes are extracted from cars and repurposed for you to basically make it easy to see what's going on. Hope you enjoy the content, and see you next time.